Hello again, everyone. This is Scott, and this is my ongoing series of the films of 1973, the year I was born. This video is on a drama called The Paper Chase, which was directed by James Bridges. He did The China Syndrome with Michael Douglas and Bridget Fonda, excuse me, Jane Fonda, Urban Cowboy with John Travolta, and Bright Lights, Big City with Michael J. Fox. This is a well-known drama primarily for the supporting performance by an actor named John Houseman, who won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for this film as Professor Charles Kingsfield. The movie takes place at Harvard Law School. In particular, it focuses on contract law. That is the basic premise of the thing. The main character is played by Timothy Bottoms. His character's name is Hart, and he, along with several other male students, basically band together to form a study group to try and handle their course load and their exams. And each one of them is supposed to come up with a document to help them with that, each of them taking a different subject to focus on. Hart decides to focus on contracts, and that is the class taught by Professor Kingsfield, so he has to pay extra attention, do extra well in this class, not only to benefit himself but the other guys in his study group. Kingsfield is quite the serious guy. Houseman is someone I knew as a character actor, primarily from his... He actually did appear in Bright Lights, Big City in a small role with Michael J. Fox. But he's one of the most well-known things one of the things he's most well-known for is his commercials for an investment company in the 80s. His catchphrase was, they make money the old-fashioned way, they earn it. He's got this very sort of dramatic way of speaking, and that plays well in this film. Whenever he teaches a class, at the end of the class, instead of saying class dismissed or you can go now, he approaches the podium where the book that he's been reading out of is sitting, and he basically slams it shut, and that's the indication to all the kids to leave. Timothy Bottoms is not an actor that I'm really familiar with. He played father of Emile Hirsch in The Girl Next Door, which came out about 10 years ago. And he was one of the teachers in the Gus Van Sant film Elephants. He was also in Man in the Iron Mask. He had an appearance on Grey's Anatomy. I really don't know him. I'm not familiar with his work very much, but I have to say his character was pretty annoying. Didn't like him very much. Particularly the way he treats his girlfriend, Susan, played by Lindsay Wagner. Lindsay Wagner I recognized from the Denzel Washington movie Ricochet. She was the DA in that movie while Denzel was still a beat cop. She's like, oh, no, don't put your uniform back on, Denzel. You took it off for the psychopath. Leave it off for me. She's a very attractive lady. She, of course, is probably best known for playing Jamie Summers, the main character in the television series The Bionic Woman. She was also in the Sylvester Stallone movie Nighthawks. As it turns out, her character, Susan, is the daughter of Professor Kingsfield. Uh-oh. So Hart not only has to contend with her, but also with Kingsfield and displeasing him, not only in class, but also in the way he treats his daughter. There's this scene in which he's basically lying on the grass, and she's there with him, and he's basically complaining about the fact that he's been spending so much time with her that it's distracting him from his studies, and she's like, she doesn't say anything. Instead, she just gets up and leaves, and he doesn't even notice because he's lying there with his eyes closed. She's like, how could you treat me like this? And I'm sitting there going, how could you treat her like that? I mean, you basically insulted her by saying that she was spending too much time with you. But yeah, he's and a lot of the guys that he works with in his study group, they're kind of unpleasant as well. They're always sort of bitching and moaning at each other, and one by one they sort of drop out of the study group as they can't handle school anymore. One of the guys actually has a haircut that's so terrible it makes Javier Bardem's haircut in No Country for Old Men look, you know, classy. I mean, it's just really terrible. I didn't recognize most of those actors. However, I did recognize Edward Herman, who is one of the guys in his study group. Now, here's a guy who was on How I Met Your Mother recently as a pastor who agrees to marry Neil Patrick Harris and Colby Smulders, but then changes his mind. He was also in Intolerable Cruelty, the Coen Brothers movie, had a memorable part in that. He was in The Cat's Meow, I don't remember, from, The Purple Rose of Cairo with Woody Allen. Here's a funny little coincidence right here. John Houseman, the actor who plays Kingsfield, before he became an actor, was involved with Orson Welles' theater company. And he's actually one of the characters in the film Me and Orson Welles. He's played by Cary Elwes in the film. After that whole business with the play, as depicted in Cradle Rock, takes place, he and Welles had a falling out, according to what I've read on Wikipedia. But Welles convinced him to sort of babysit the screenwriter of Citizen Kane, Herman Mankiewicz, because, you know, Mankiewicz liked to drink a lot and he needed him to stay away from the bottle so that he could finish the script. Now, here's a funny coincidence for you. Edward Herrmann, as I said, plays one of the students in this film that Houseman, you know, appears in. Houseman knew knew Welles, and was involved in the making of Citizen Kane. Now, Citizen Kane is inspired by the real-life person, William Randolph Hearst. And Edward Herrmann played Hearst in the movie The Cat's Meow with Kirsten Dunst as Marion Davies. That's a nice little coincidence for you. Yeah, this movie was pretty decent. Not one of my favorites or anything like that, but I like a good drama. And a lot of the characters are kind of jerks, so I didn't really like that much about them. But it didn't bore me, for sure. Decent film overall. So there's my little video on The Paper Chase. Thanks very much for watching. I'll have more 1973 movies for you in the offing. Thanks very much. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't already, there's a link in the description for my Facebook CineRam page. I appreciate you stopping by and commenting, offering feedback, stuff like that. Thanks very much. See you soon.